Do you feel like you're stuck in a box, or that if you're in STEM, you can only just do one thing? Well, think again. Today's guest is Kathy, a PhD student at Harvard in material science, who has built a viral STEM outreach program teaching the science behind beauty. From sold out perfume making workshops to over 6 million views on social media, she's proving that science can be personal, fun, and creative. She also talks about the world of material science. Honestly, I did not know about this world. It's such a crazy world of what we talk about. She dives in on how she got into material science, why she chose it, and what are the outcomes of having said degree. If you're interested to just learn more and hear about other people's career paths, this episode is for you. Welcome to One in STEM podcast. If you're new here, I'm your friend in STEM, Mary, and this podcast is all about science, technology, engineering, and math. I bring guests from all over the STEM world to talk about their career path, their stories, and how we could learn and try to apply them in our everyday life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the episode. Kathy, welcome to my living room. I'm so happy you're here. And I just can't wait to dive into our conversation because I know it's going to be a great one.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I just want to start. Can you just introduce a little bit of what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so I'm a PhD student at Harvard. I'm in material science and mechanical engineering. I honestly describe myself as Edna Mode, from Incredibles.
Yeah.
That's what material science kind of is. You just okay, I need this material. And then I go into lab and then I will just fiddle around with all these test tubes and pour things around and stretch on them and see how hard they are or how strong they are, and then you just make new materials. So specifically I'll do ones for medical applications. I had a gel that we help surgeons burn tumors more safely, or I have some different microgels that are kind of like the Big Hero 6 little robots, and trying to figure out how to make them do useful things, and also studying the way that we can architect them to come together. So it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of lab stuff for my PhD specifically.
Oh, that's awesome. It's just everything you described, all I could think about, maybe that's just me being naive, is all the sci-fi movies you watch or the
Yes.
shows.
Yes.
And I'm because when I went into science, I thought that what's gonna be my life. And then now I work with cells and stuff, so it's completely different. But what you're doing is pretty awesome. And I can't wait to dive in more. And so what is material science? Or actually, let me ask this question. How did you get into material science?
Yeah, those are two very good questions that I get a lot. Not a lot of people know material scientists. I certainly did not growing up. I wasn't oh my God, I need to be a material scientist, because I had no idea what that was until honestly college-ish, when I fell into it, and there was a major that happened to match what I wanted to do and what I loved. So it's pretty tiny. Honestly, there were 7 people I think in my graduating class. But how I got into it is I've just always loved making things. Growing up, it was not actually science. It wasn't really engineering. It was art. It was little clay figures, little clay penguins, or Legos. In elementary school, I actually built this really janky at the time house in my basement out of cardboard boxes.
Whoa.
And then you could even crawl through it, and the walls and the doors actually worked and stuff.
No.
I just loved making things, It was oh, let me think of something and I can actually make it happen. Yeah. And that just continued. And then it was high school, where a lot of the science fairs was where I connected it to being oh, I can make things that are useful for the world. And there are these amazing science programs that aren't just a baking soda volcano.
Yeah.
They really, I was seeing these older kids making these I don't know, disease cures and crazy programs and stuff for science fairs, and I was I'm gonna give this a shot. And so I started just tinkering for those, and I've always really been into, from a kid, energy. And then I started tinkering around with battery materials and did pretty well at those science fairs. And was this is awesome. There's a huge community. I'm doing something that I feel is useful for the world. And that's how I continued. And really, it's just what do I need to learn to make that impact? And that's more chemistry, that's more physics, that's a little bit more math. And I loved all those things, and those came together, and that's kind of what material science is.
Yeah.
It's the merge of all those fields.
Okay, wow. And so from high school, you went to your undergrad. What was your undergrad in?
Yeah, my undergrad was in material science and
Okay.
engineering. That was at Stanford. I would describe it as like applied chemistry and physics. Yeah.
And so did you have a lot of lab works where you had to do like crazy projects like you talked?
Honestly, the opposite. I thought a lot of the classes were fine.
Mm,
They were the basics, they were your ABCs, they're what you need to
okay.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really excited about what I was doing outside of class
Okay.
because, like, that's where the cool, like, edge of technology was,
Mm,
like, in the research labs. I got to join one of Professor Janan Bao. She is, like, the world's leader in electronic skin
mm-hmm.
technology, and that like
Wow.
changed my life. That's my first like super sci-fi project, I think.
Yeah.
And she was just an incredible mentor, and that combination was like, whoa, like you can have cool people, cool applications, doing really
Mm-hmm.
smart things. I
Mm-hmm.
would love to do this.
And so for people who are in their undergrad right now and they're like, oh, I want to be able to work in different labs, not specifically your lab, but like a lab, like what did you do to get into that lab?
Yeah. It's so much emailing, just cold emailing,
Yeah.
honestly, from the beginning. And it's a skill that I think applies to so many different career
Yeah,
paths.
exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
not even just emailing, like just DMing or like
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to someone and
Mm-hmm.
just shooting your shot,
Yeah.
honestly. So when I started, I actually just emailed so many professors, and it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I would like love it was actually just, I would love to learn. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, I have to be this perfect candidate for you. In fact, I know that I'm a baby and
Yeah.
I would just love to learn from you because I'm
Uh-huh.
amazed.
Yeah.
Here's what I have done already. It might not be exactly
Mm-hmm.
relevant,
Mm-hmm.
but I would love to just like apply these and learn
Mm-hmm.
from you. So I sent so many emails, and I think that the people who reply first is a good sign that they're good to work with,
Mm.
because then they're excited too, and you
Yeah.
want that two-way street.
I love that. I feel like so many people, they focus so much on their classwork,
Yeah.
so much that they're like, okay, I don't have time for the
Hmm.
extra things outside of class. And so, but that's where you get your experience from the lab and the hands on and learning from someone that's super renowned. And like, I bet you learned
Absolutely.
so much.
Absolutely. And actually, in grad school now, I do have to take classes. And I find that after doing a project and something
Mm-hmm.
that's like very real and tangible and something that I have messed around with my own hands, going back to classes makes so much more sense.
Uh,
Because then I know why I'm learning something. It's
mm,
not just a set of rules that someone's telling me. It's like I didn't understand what was going on with my little vial, and then like why are bubbles forming there or whatnot. And then you go back to class and you're like, wait, someone really smart, like hundreds of years ago, figured this out,
yeah.
and this is how they figured it out, and it suddenly makes sense.
Mm,
So I think that I love when you're like, oh yeah, like so much happens outside the classroom, because I actually think that the best learning comes when they're like side by
side
side.
by side.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
make the world your classroom, and then also learn from the people who've come
Yeah.
before and written all those textbooks.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now you're a grad student at Harvard. What inspired you to pursue that?
Yeah, I think I wanted to do grad school for a couple different reasons. The first is the opportunity to work on something pretty crazy,
Mm-hmm.
like pretty sci-fi. I had the opportunity to intern while I was in college at
Okay.
Apple and at Google X at the time. And they were wonderful, wonderful experiences. And I was just like so inspired by making products that everybody uses every
Mm-hmm.
day. Like getting to see science in someone else's hand was amazing. But there was an element where like I'd be working on a product and like we had to do science that would like work, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
it's gotta make you a phone that's gonna be beautiful and functional
Mm-hmm.
within the next like year or two.
Yeah.
And I always had these like ideas going in my head, like, what if that? What if that? And I was thinking like maybe 5, 10 years out, this kind of tech. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not feasible now.
Exactly.
So part of me wanted to work on something like bigger, something crazier, which
Mm-hmm.
is really happens in a lot of research labs.
Mm.
And so that was definitely part of it. Another part of it was definitely like the mentorship aspect and getting to like build your own set of like science and also community.
Mm.
Like I had amazing mentors growing up, and they were just like they have these like lineages of like really smart and wonderful people. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh, in a PhD, like I would love to learn how to be like that, like a
Yeah.
leader in science, something I'm doing, and like people around me.
And so how did you find the graduate program that you're in right now.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah.
Every lab is so different
Mhm.
and they will define your PhD experience. I came to my lab just knowing I wanted to work with my professor. She's just a stunning woman in materials, and she's like made so many breakthroughs in our field. And she's also just a wonderful, exemplary person. That's the type of person I want to work with and want
Yeah.
to learn from.
Mm.
So I honestly came here for
Yeah.
like her tutelage, like to work with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and her lab, like the lab that I'm in, is just so supportive and so kind. Every lab is just so different, and everyone just has to find their own style, you
Mm.
know? So, like, she's really hands off. Whereas I love that because I love having the freedom to like experiment, and also I think science goes at very non-linear paces.
For sure.
But I know a lot of other people like more structure,
Yeah.
and they'd like more structure.
I agree. And what year PhD are you at right now?
I just finished my third year.
Your third year.
Yeah, so I'm like
Nice.
middle.
Middle. Okay, awesome. So you did touch upon you had an internship at Apple. Can you like sort of walk us through why did you choose Apple and what was it about?
Yeah. So I got to intern at Apple on their materials product design team, and I worked primarily on the inks and colors that go on different products.
Okay.
So all the pretty colors that you see actually have a lot of engineering that go behind them to make sure they look good, and to make sure they're functional, and to make sure they last. So I was really excited by it because it's just like I said, it's just the opportunity to make something that people around the world get to hold is like a crazy experience.
Yeah.
And they also just are so good at combining science plus art and design.
Yeah.
And like it's all like human experience centered. You know, like everything about the product is how is the customer going to perceive it, and how are they going to have a good time with it. So I love that intersection, and I was like, how do we design materials like that? So I learned a lot there. And that was a really, really good learning opportunity. That came through my university, but I know they do have internship openings for, for anyone to apply to.
Yeah.
So that was in my college era. And then after college, I actually moved to the Netherlands to do research for a year. I was on a Fulbright, and I was doing organic chemistry on the super fundamental level.
No, I hated organic chemistry.
You did? It's a puzzle with things you can't see.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true, yeah.
So I did that for a year, and I was making molecular motors.
No way.
There are these molecules that like the molecule itself is a motor, like it rotates in a specified way. And that got the Nobel Prize in 2016. It was with Professor Feringa, and he's just amazing, and it was one of the best years of my life so far. Yeah, I got to learn that. And then after that, I started my PhD.
You've worked on some amazing things. Like, honestly, I feel like the opportunities that opened in front of you are just like crazy. And I feel like if you didn't put yourself out there and like from the start, you had that passion for like material sciences, I don't think these opportunities would have come your way either. So I love your energy, like, and how like you're just so excited to talk about material science and like I knew things like that existed, but I didn't know it was under material science.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I don't know why, like, it's not advertised as much.
I don't know why. It's literally that. It's like everything under the sun of like, you can go medical, you can go like energy materials, like batteries, EVs, like solar, those are all like critical materials.
Yeah.
Then you can also go like mining, and crystal girls have their own like world if you want.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can tie in chemistry, you can go more physics, you can go more simulation. Like it's honestly just like a growing field.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of boundaryless, honestly.
Like for me, like I would think if you're working on batteries, that would be like an electrical engineer. Or if you're like trying to create a motor or whatever, that's more mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
It's like more like mechanical engineering, it's a broad area.
Yeah.
But like you could be more specific in things. That's why when I was like, I heard you do material science, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like this is like pretty new to me.
Yeah.
But the work you're doing is not like everyone knows about it, or they know, but they don't know under what umbrella does it fall for.
Absolutely. You've nailed that.
Under, yeah.
No, yeah, you've nailed that. Because I mean, it sounds cheesy, but like honestly, anything's a material if you think about it. And it's like, okay, if you're into cars and you
Mhm.
don't want to just be a mechanical engineer,
Yeah.
like car parts, how do you make a better tire that
Mhm.
lasts like the F1 races?
Yeah.
Or like the gas should be more sustainable.
Yeah.
Or like the exteriors, like you mentioned motors,
Mhm.
they have to be light, they have to be functional, they have
Mhm.
to withstand high temperatures. So there is a material for like
I feel like
so many things.
every, like, now what you're describing, I feel like every aspect of every job needs a material scientist.
Honestly, I think so too.
Honestly, maybe I'm being biased because you're here, but like honestly, like now you're just saying, like, I'm sure an F1 team has pretty material
Yeah.
scientists. Like Apple has material scientists.
Yeah.
Microsoft, like everyone.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Which is what I love like sharing and yapping about
Yeah.
because there are so many people like I said, I fell into it kind of accidentally because I was chasing what I loved. But
Mm.
it wasn't like I ever opened a book and it was like, you can be a doctor, you can be a
Exactly.
lawyer, you can be a material scientist.
Exactly.
Like that
Yeah.
wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And I just like followed the classes that kind of matched.
Mhm.
But I would love for more people to have this opportunity if they
Yeah.
like it because it's very broad.
It's
Yeah.
very broad, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here.
That's
so you can
why
spread the
I'm
word.
here, and that's why you're here.
And so I know you've done also work outside of just the material science world.
Mhm.
I don't want to spoil too much. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. So I lead these workshops that are basically how do we get everyone in the world would be the goal to be able to engage in science in a really, really fun and personable way. And I've found a really good niche in that is through beauty, through the
Mhm.
lens of beauty for women, especially who like are still underrepresented in the
Mhm.
sciences to this day.
Mhm.
And so I teach workshops on both the principles that go behind different beauty products
Okay.
and different aspects of consumer products, even
Mhm.
like laundry detergent, etc.
Yeah.
Everyone uses, not just
Yeah.
women. And then there's a hands-on aspect where workshop participants can actually try their hand at making them once they
Mhm.
know the science that goes behind them. And they're a really, really fun way to connect people, I think, to what they are buying, what they're using like
Yeah.
every day, and what they're marketed every day,
Mhm.
and don't necessarily think about what goes in it or what it's
Yeah.
made of. So it's been a really, really fun way to outreach to people. I've always really been into outreach. Like, okay, how do I get people excited about science?
Yeah.
Because I love it so much,
Yeah.
and maybe they didn't have like the same journey.
Mm.
And there's like I've had varying success. You know,
Mhm.
like there's always been like the workshops that are really fun and like you make something blow up for like an hour
Yeah.
and then you like go home and you kind of forget about it, or you don't think that's going to be your future.
Mhm.
And then there's also like some workshops where I think really stick with you, and I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like the ones that where people can be like, wait a minute, I see myself doing this. And so I really think I've found that through my workshops with like perfumes and like
Yeah.
beauty products.
Mhm. And what age group is the workshop for?
All age groups.
All age
So
group,
I've
okay.
done elementary school students.
Mhm.
They're so cute. I've done adult workshops also. I've had like people who are in all different sectors too,
Mhm.
like in law and medicine, and then
Okay,
also
wow.
like yeah, like little kids who are
Yeah.
like they're so cute too. They'll ask sometimes the best questions.
That's so cute. And what's one science concept that was your favorite to teach in those workshops?
The perfumes has been awesome.
Mhm.
Fragrance is such a rich scientific world that's
Mhm.
also super artistic,
Mhm.
and every can have their own experiences with it. So it's super tangible because, okay, on the science side, like when you have a perfume, it's actually so much chemistry that goes into it. The first chemist in the world was actually a female perfumer.
Mhm.
So, just it goes back for so long. And how do you make something smell good? How do you make it
Mhm.
last? How do you make it smell different?
Mhm.
That's all like so much synthetic chemistry goes into it these days. How do you make it more sustainable? The different notes lasting in different amounts of time.
Mhm.
That's like the volatility or how easily each of the little molecules flies off or
Yeah.
stays in.
Oh.
So there's so much good science there that's just
Yeah.
very hardcore stuff that no one teaches in school.
Yeah.
There's also a very personal part to it that like everybody when they smell something, they will be brought back to something and it could be totally different. It could be
Yeah.
crazy, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like I've had workshops where we sit and we start like going through the different notes and people are testing them, and one person's like, whoa, this reminds me of like my grandma's house and like her cookies and stuff. And someone was like, this reminded me of my divorce.
No way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you get people talking,
Yeah.
and then they compare, and like it's a really personal experience.
Yeah.
So I love that part of it.
Yeah. That's super fun. I think you touch upon that perfume has a lot of science.
Something that people might not know about perfumes is that like the coffee beans, they don't actually reset your nose.
They don't?
No, they're like you're smelling something different. Like you smell it because there are
Yeah.
molecules coming up in your nose. Like they don't clear anything.
Yeah.
They're actually just like different than what you're probably smelling, so that's why they put
Is it
them there.
because like it's a stronger scent, so it's just like
It's strong and it's different.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like giving you a different sensation, a reset.
So how do you balance making your content accessible while still being scientifically accurate?
This is so important. And I think of it as like accessible doesn't have to mean easy. Accessible just has to mean they are hearing what you're saying in a very like a way that makes sense to them. And so there's like a metaphor for anything, so if you're like describing some kind of scientific concept, then like I think that you can make a metaphor for it, or you can like tie it to someone's personal experience. So like I describe scent molecules a lot to the really young students as Legos. The receptors in your nose are just like they stick to different molecules, like different Legos might stick together. And all the kids are like, whoa, so we just have Legos in our nose. And I'm like, kind of,
Yeah.
and then bam, you have like neuroreceptors taught in a very simple way. And so I think it's just about, for me, tapping into what they might know and then like trying to bridge that gap. And a lot of it's like very active. Like you can say something and see if someone like gets it, or like, it's always like asking questions and like being like, okay, who can respond to me about this? So yeah, I would say metaphors is really important. I also love to make things like chill and also like fun environments where people can like inject their own opinions and we can get debates going, or people can be wrong, or people can be silly. That's really important. And I want to make it like a fun group learning experience, not just like lecturing.
Exactly, yeah. That's awesome. Where were you when I was in classes?
Oh my gosh, my teachers too. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Every lesson, it might be like an hour, but it'll take like so long to prep in that way, I'm sure you feel this. Podcasting or content creation too.
It takes time.
It takes time. Like if you make a video explaining something, it can be 20 seconds online, like a reel. But like it takes so much time to plan and edit.
Exactly. And also trying to, I don't want to say dumb down, but simplifying it as much as you can to get the point across in like 20 seconds.
Yes.
And then there's always like 3 people who are like, they did not get the point to why the video's made, but like, those are the outliers.
But that's a great point. And I actually, this might be a hot take for like academics and like traditional education, but I think that'd be great exercise to have everybody in any field like practice making reels, like 20-second things about whatever they just learned.
Yeah.
Because if you can describe it in 20 seconds to an audience and feel confident enough to push it out there, then you've really learned it, But if you can't, you probably could brush up on it more.
Dive in deeper to
Yeah.
So we talked about your workshops, and we said that you talked about your workshop and your perfume making workshops at the Harvard Natural History Museum. They have sold out. What do those events look like behind the scenes?
They're so fun. They're so cute. So it's split up into 2 parts. The first part is about learning, and the first part is about teaching what goes into like the fragrances or like whatever experiment we're doing. Like I've also actually done like holographic chocolate.
Ooh.
It's chocolate that like is rainbow, just the way you structure it. There's no extra dyes or anything. So stuff like that. So I'll teach about that first, and then we actually take a break in the middle and we go around the museum for the fragrance workshops, and I have little vials of the different notes that match different exhibits in the museum. But like the civet animal is where a lot of traditional musks came from. So I have a little bottle of a musk. It is not from a civet, it is synthetic because I don't, want that. But we go up to the civet, the animal, and the musk in a bottle honestly smells awful when it's concentrated. Like, it is pungent. We look at the civet and we're just like, how in the world did anybody decide to extract that, you know?
They thought that's a good smell.
How? Yeah. But then I also have a fragrance that might be
Mm.
based on a musk and it smells amazing. And that's
Mhm.
because it's so dilute and it's so engineered and there's so many other things in it.
Mhm.
So that in itself is like a whole experience of like,
Yeah.
whoa, to
Mhm.
get to A to B to C, you had to do so much artistic evaluation and so much engineering to get
Yeah.
to that nice one. And then similar for the plants, like I
Mhm.
have different like herbs and different fruit scents. The Harvard museums have the glass flowers,
Mhm.
which have a lot of beautiful scents in my collection too. So that's a good like connecting to the real world about the scents. And then the final part of the workshop is the hands-on making.
Mhm.
So everyone gets a collection of base notes and then they get to smell them all. They get to get their own experiences with it. They write down notes, they share their thoughts with other people, and then they just get to go at it. I choose the scents so you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever makes anything that smells
Super
bad.
bad.
But it's really fun. And they'll like write down what their inspiration for the different notes
Mhm.
is and go home with something that's theirs.
Yeah. And so how do people react when they realize they're doing like real chemistry?
It's so funny. Some people are like, wait, like, I should do this. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can. Obviously, there's like a lot more that also goes into it that we couldn't do it like in a classroom.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's kind of a gateway because some
Mhm.
people actually go and watch videos on how like the synthesis or the distillation works because of that workshop. Or some people will like go and like experience fragrances a little bit differently now that they know like the top, middle, base notes
Yeah.
and whatnot. So I think it's just like people looking around and having like this moment of like, wait,
Yeah.
like I could have thought about this the whole time. And it's like, yeah, that's the power that like good science will teach you.
Yeah, exactly. And what's been the most rewarding part of this workshop?
I love it when people, two things. First is when people's eyes light up because they get something. Like that is just so satisfying. And especially when it's something that they're excited about. Like it's like, whoa, I've taught you well. And then the second most rewarding thing is just creating community. Like I've met a lot of really, really cool women from across the city, across the school, across multiple schools, online even, through these workshops. That surprised me. Like
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I was just doing this to like spread science, but like we also have formed a community. Funny thing about these workshops that I also didn't expect is that it is like 95% women probably. And I
Wow.
don't even market it like that. Like, I just say fragrance workshop, and I had a class of 20-ish students. Like these were young students, and I think there were two boys there. And
Oh.
I didn't market it
Yeah.
like that at all. And it was funny to me because I was actually teaching and trying to be inclusive of the guys too, which I almost never have to do in like
Yeah.
a traditional
Yeah.
engineering class. And so I feel like I've accidentally almost tapped into like the space where like all the girls can learn in a really supportive, safe, and relatable environment. That's been really rewarding.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. And so if anyone's interested in your workshops, where can they find you?
Yeah, I have a mini TikTok where I should post more. So that's at Cats, like with a K, because Kathy. So KATS_IEYE. And then we also have different like the Museum of Natural History, they'll pub those, or I need to get more going this year, and then I'll like send them on different
So,
channels,
yeah.
social medias.
How many workshops a year do you do?
I've done like every 2 to 3 months-ish, I'll do one.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I would like to ramp it up. It's just balancing it with grad school and everything.
And you do everything on your own?
I do
Yeah.
everything on my own. The dream would be to be able to expand it more though, like different cities and like virtual for people who can't make it. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I have a lot of ideas. We'll talk offline.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
And so you said that you're doing everything on your own. So you're in grad school, your workshops. How do you do it all? That's my question.
Girl, same for you. We're all girlies at it with
Yeah.
different things. Okay. I think cheesy, and I think you'll get this too though, is that like I think it's all really fun. Like I love it. Like whenever I'm like doing lab, I'm always like, okay, like I think about my experience all the time and I love those. And then when I'm teaching, I'm just like, there's no other feeling after like doing a workshop. You're like, whoa, that was awesome. I want to do one again. So I think they balance each other really well. And it's just like, it's helpful that it's adjacent, I guess, to what I do in grad school. And like STEM outreach has always been important to me and advancing science. Yeah.
I do like the fact that, yes, you're doing your degree and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time dedicated to it, but you're also seeking out other interests that you like. And I feel like us being in STEM, we are like sort of wired to stay in this one box and not like expand or do other things.
Yeah.
Because like when I started off with my social media, I had a lot of people be like, why?
Really?
Like, it doesn't make sense what you're doing. Some people don't see the vision, which is fine. It's okay. Not everyone's going to understand your vision.
Yeah.
But like in STEM, I feel like you need to stay in a box, even though all of our ideas and thoughts should be outside of the box to try to cure other things. But like the definition of a scientist is like in a box kind of way. So like doing workshops or being on social media or doing that, like people were like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts about this. Okay. I think they're in 3 buckets. Okay. The first of this is in this social media realm. Like the ability to communicate science, especially in social media these days, is so important. And then the ability to communicate career paths is so important, especially if we want more women, more diverse communities, or like people who don't have access to the same pipelines. To be like, I'm excited about this. So I think in that realm, social media, everything like showing the fun parts that people don't see is so, so important, especially in STEM. Another bucket of this is, in my experience for like science and my inspiration, it's so often not in the lab. I grew up in Utah and it's gorgeous there, like mountains, deserts. If you go outside, you can like find a million things to just be like, wow about. And so that's where I got a lot of my early inspiration. It's just from nature, and it's from the ways that like nature does things so beautifully. Why should we reinvent a lot of the wheel? When I get into a rut in my research, I actually go to the Natural History Museum. And I actually look at a lot of the animals and I like study them and I stare at them for hours. And that's what a lot of our engineering is about. It's about nature inspired design, because a lot of wacky things we don't come up with. We get a lot of cool ideas from nature. Okay, and then the final bucket is like femininity in STEM and breaking that box. Way back, I used to like not paint my nails or like not updo or like purposely downplay anything beauty or girly because I thought that people wouldn't take me seriously in these spaces. And it's just a mental thing, I think. And it's like a cultural thing because like it's just not the majority in a lot of these like hard engineering spaces. Like I felt like in classes I wouldn't be taken seriously if I was like, you know, more put together and everything. But on the flip side, I actually find that that's like really powerful set of like aesthetic skills, you know, to have. And like I feel good and I come up with a lot of ideas when I'm getting ready in the morning. Exactly. Actually. It's kind of funny. Like the 5 minutes I take to like put on eyeliner, like I'm really focused and I'm like, wait, like I actually have an idea for this, that thing, one thing. And it's a good like meditative time for me. And I think that there's a lot of like organization skills and like all these like critical thinking and like that girls a lot of times are very naturally good at, but we just like don't, it's never been told to us that that's good for science. So I think those are very important to just express, support, make better.
Exactly. I know, I agree with all 3 buckets. I tend to like on my social media express like, hey, sometimes answers are outside of the lab.
Yes.
You don't have to like don't sit and focus, but you don't have to break your head staring at one thing. Go do something else. Like go break the habit that you're in or the cycle that you're in, because that could give you a breakthrough.
Absolutely.
And so with your degree after you graduate, and if someone's thinking of doing material science, what are different jobs that a person can have?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was sounding like a broken record. But so PhD in material science will put you up on like, I think senior engineering roles in like the broad spectrum of like jobs, from like biotech potentially through like automotive, energy engineering, like semiconductors, electronics are huge right now. So all of those are pretty well suited.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also know a lot of people who end up going like and taking their analytical skills out of the STEM spaces even, and they'll do more like consulting or business management or those. There's also like entrepreneurship roles if you want to do like a tech founder type of thing, or there's like investing roles because you know technology so you can invest in it better, or government, public policy, science policy, also so important. So those are all potentials. I will say that I think that a lot of these you don't need the PhD for. It really depends on what you're looking for and the role. For me, I just really wanted that specific like research experience, that like leading my own kind of like blue sky crazy research. Not crazy, like moonshot almost research, and that whole experience and that learning along the way. So that's why I wanted it. But I think a lot of these jobs you also don't need it. Some you may if you want a higher position or a different, more technical position.
I'm glad that you said that, because like people, whoever listens to this podcast, if you've listened to more than one episode, you know I'm a big advocate for like take a step back, know what you want to do, because you don't have to jump into a PhD if you don't need it.
No.
I'm a big advocate for that. I'm not against PhDs, but I'm like, if you cannot have one, why not?
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and still be successful.
Totally.
So I'm glad you said like, hey, you don't need a PhD, like, and this is why you chose a PhD.
Absolutely. It's a personal choice. It is like on average 5 years of your life.
That's
in
true.
your 20s.
Yeah.
So it's a really formative time to be at one place for a really long time. So it's gotta make sense for you. And like, I'm not here to say it's all like
cool,
sparkles and perfect. Academia right now in the US, as we know, is kind of under attack actually. And so I think it's made me think a lot though about like the role it plays in my life and like why I'm doing it and why society, there is this chunk of society that like really, really, really benefits from research, and actually all of society down the road does benefit from research. So it's a learning space. It's a very challenging space, but it's like a very valuable one if you like really, really open-ended questions and longer term, I think, impacts.
So next up is Career Corner. It's a listener submitted questions where we just take 3 questions and just give our take on.
Awesome.
So my first question is, I'm passionate about so many things, science, beauty, storytelling, but I feel like I need to choose just one to be successful. Do you believe it's possible to build a career that blends all your interests, or do you think there's a trade-off?
Oh my gosh, those sound like they could fit so well together. Beauty and storytelling. Okay. Like so many different ways. I'm just gonna riff. Like you could do the science of beauty, like I've been explaining, and there's so much storytelling about that. You could do also like some of our lab does the science of like making different colors even, and those are like beautiful to see. And then there's a lot of storytelling you can do with that. My professor actually even like made a game that you play, and then like depending on different coatings for the materials, then they'll like reveal different colors, and it's part of a game. And so like you can incorporate a lot of science into storytelling. Good science is also so based on good storytelling often, because you have to like convince people why it matters. You have to show them why your results are cool. So it's all so intertwined. I think big science communicators like Bill Nye, they are big because they're good at storytelling. And then they have to make their videos beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah, that's true.
So hand in hand.
And I do want to add also, like, you could do more than one thing too.
Totally.
You could just, like, let's say be in science, do one thing, but also do something at the same time. If you are the kind of person who can do 2 things at once or 3 things at once.
Yeah.
So, like, don't only, like, just focus on, like, just one thing. But if you have passions for other things, also like look at that and
absolutely
question it and try to be a part of it kind of thing.
Absolutely. There's some of the best people do their best work when they have something else they can tap out, you know?
I agree.
Like I love skiing, and you just get like everything off your mind, and then you just like going down the mountain, and then I feel so refreshed when I go to lab. Exactly. Or actually I just thought of also there's a cool area of like beauty plus science or science in beauty, like when Bella Hadid wears that dress that people sprayed on her.
Oh yeah,
like, that's all polymers. That's all materials that, you know, you could make that. Or like new materials for sustainable fashion, or you know, it's all possible.
It's all possible. Yeah.
So
science is everywhere,
and you can do multiple things
exactly,
too. You know,
exactly. Second question is: you're at Harvard and doing so many cool things. Do you ever still feel like you don't belong?
Gosh, all the time.
The follow-up follow-up question is, what helps you push through those feelings?
Yeah. It comes to me not only at Harvard, but like anytime I'm in a new space where it feels like people have been there for so much longer. I feel this in when I started in like the beauty space. Like perfumers have been at this for so long, right? Like I don't want to step on their toes. They know so much more. Or like when I'm stepping into more like entrepreneurial spaces, I'll be like, whoa, like people have started real business. I don't know. We're always learning. So
Yeah.
it comes everywhere. It helps me to just be in a learning mode. I'm always just trying to soak up as much as possible. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm trying to do my best. So like tapping into that is really helpful. But it's also important, I think, to be like, oh yeah, I have come this far for a reason and I've had fun doing it. Something must be right. And if I'm still having fun, then if I can continue doing that in like the conversations I have and like whatnot, it's like it takes the nerves away a lot. Because I love just like talking to people, connecting. So that's also really, really fun.
That's awesome.
But if I do ever feel like overwhelmed, which does happen for sure, tapping back into things that like feel good. Like I mentioned like skiing, like nature reminds me a lot of home and good friends, good people, the girlies.
Yeah, I agree. And it's normal to feel that way as well.
So normal.
It's just human feelings. Yeah. Third question is, I'm really passionate about science, but sometimes the culture in STEM feels intimidating. Like everyone else knows so much more, and I'm just trying to keep up. How do you combat that?
It's so real.
I know, right? I feel like it's a feeling, you feel it in school and at work, and it's never gonna go.
Yeah. Like, yeah, when you're saying when you start a job.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. Every single, like, meeting or, like, conference I'll go to, it's, like, the same thing. But then you talk to everyone, and it's like, wait, everyone feels this way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think that it's helped, though, in the PhD program, doing my PhD research where, like, it's normal to just like mess up so many times and you're just like, every single time I mess up, the next time I get better. And so building that confidence is huge. And then I'll look back and I'll be like, oh wait, a year ago I couldn't do this like nearly as well as I'm doing it now. And now I'm like doing it in flying colors. And if you rinse and repeat, then you can do that in like so many different things. So much of it is how much time you put into it. I actually like on the side, I love dance. I danced a lot in college and try to as much as I can now. But that is a big thing that dance taught me. It's that like you have to mess up, you have to be bad at some point, but every single time you practice, you're going to get better. And as long as you put that in and you're having fun along the way, then you're going to get better. And then the next dance you try, you're going to get better.
Yeah, I agree. Some people are not born with a skill. You just have to learn that skill to be able to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone had to learn it too.
Yeah,
you're just like seeing the different timeline.
Exactly. It's like going to the gym. It's how many reps you put in. If you're just gonna go once, you're not gonna see any changes. But if you keep going,
and you might be looking at Tom over there who's been to the gym for like 10 years, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Also, don't compare. It's so hard not to compare. But comparing is like the thief of joy. So you won't enjoy what you have if you keep comparing with others.
No, actually. And then you're not focusing on yourself.
Exactly.
And then you're putting their energy on them.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I am so happy you're here. I learned so much about you and about material sciences that I never knew about. And so thank you for also sharing your incredible journey. It was such a fun time.
Thank you for having me. This has been just so wonderful.
I'm glad, honestly. And for everyone out there listening, I will put in the show notes where you can find Kathy and her workshops if you're interested in her workshops. And also, I hope you learned something. Material science, how not to be intimidating, how to just go out of the box of what STEM is like. I hope you learned one or two things. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you in the next episode.